What shocking truth about the mysterious woman made Taehyung cry and forced Jungkook to apologize? And why are ARMY around the world in tears tonight after hearing the real story? Keep reading, hit like, comment what you think, and subscribe because the truth behind this emotional chaos is finally coming to light. What really happened behind the closed doors of last night's unexpected emotional storm? And why did the revelation about a single mysterious woman leave Taehyung in tears while pushing Jungkook into a heartbreaking apology that stunned millions of ARMY across the globe? From the very moment whispers began spreading online, fans felt something heavy and unsettling in the air, as if a truth too painful to handle was waiting to break through the surface. Thousands of comments exploded, speculation ran wild, and everyone demanded the same thing. Who is she? What did she do? And why did the involvement of this woman shake the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook so deeply that ARMY themselves found it hard to breathe? The story begins hours before the world saw the raw emotion on Taehyung's face, a moment captured unintentionally by a passing fan who didn't expect their short clip to send shockwaves through the fandom. Taehyung stood alone near the back entrance of a quiet building, shoulders trembling just enough for the camera to catch, and although he tried to wipe his face quickly, the redness in his eyes said everything. The clip spread like wildfire, but the real chaos came when Jungkook appeared minutes later, head lowered, expression tight with guilt, and murmured something to Taehyung that made him look away, unable to speak. And that was when the biggest question erupted. What truth had just been exposed? For hours the fandom spiraled in confusion, desperation, and fear. Some believed it was a misunderstanding, others insisted it was something deeper. But none of them were prepared for the truth that emerged later that night. A truth that not only revealed the identity of the mysterious woman, but also explained why her involvement had reopened a wound that Taehyung had quietly carried for years. The emotional weight of that revelation hit ARMY harder than they ever expected, and as details slowly surfaced, the world finally understood why Jungkook looked like he couldn't even forgive himself. It turns out that the woman, who fans had seen with Jungkook earlier that week, wasn't connected to rumors of dating, scandals, or secret relationships. The truth was far more personal, far more emotional, and far more haunting than what the public imagined. She was someone from Taehyung's past, someone whose name he rarely mentioned, someone tied to a memory filled with unresolved pain. And when Jungkook unknowingly crossed paths with her and had a conversation that he initially thought harmless, he never expected the hidden connection, nor the emotional landmine he had accidentally stepped on. That night, the tension escalated behind closed doors as Taehyung confronted Jungkook, not out of anger but out of fear. He had always been protective of certain memories, certain relationships, certain pieces of himself that he never fully explained. Jungkook, who had always been attentive and sensitive, suddenly found himself hearing truths he assumed were long resolved. The moment Taehyung began speaking, Jungkook realized he had hurt him without meaning to, and that realization shattered him. Witnesses described Taehyung's voice cracking as he explained the significance of the woman, how she had once been a close friend he trusted during a difficult chapter of his life, and how her sudden return without warning resurrected a pain he had spent years trying to bury. Jungkook listened in silence, his eyes slowly darkening with guilt as he realized the weight of what he had done. And what hurt him the most wasn't the situation itself. It was Taehyung forcing himself to smile through tears as he said he wasn't angry, just overwhelmed. The moment Jungkook finally broke down happened shortly after, when he placed his hands on Taehyung's shoulders, voice barely audible as he apologized repeatedly, choking on words because he didn't know how to undo the hurt he had triggered. He apologized not for seeing the woman, but for not knowing, for not understanding earlier, for not being able to protect Taehyung from the unexpected emotional blow. And when Taehyung tried to tell him it wasn't his fault, that only made Jungkook cry harder. And ARMY, witnessing those leaked seconds of real vulnerability, couldn't help but cry with them. But the truth didn't end there. The deeper story behind the woman revealed yet another twist, one that added layers to the emotional breakdown. She had reached out to Jungkook because she wanted to reconnect with Taehyung, unaware of how the past had affected him. Jungkook, always warm and approachable, listened to her without knowing he was stepping into sensitive territory. When he told Taehyung about their brief encounter, he had no idea it would trigger such intense emotions. Emotions Taehyung had never fully confessed even to him. The emotional weight of the night intensified when Taehyung admitted he wasn't upset with Jungkook, but with himself. He told him he wished he had been stronger, that he wished old wounds didn't still control him, that he wished he had been able to face the woman without falling apart. Jungkook, hearing those words, shook his head fiercely and insisted Taehyung didn't have to be strong all the time, that he didn't have to pretend, that he had the right to feel hurt even after years had passed. And that's when Taehyung finally allowed himself to cry openly. What fans didn't know was that Jungkook had spent the rest of the night trying to comfort him, refusing to leave his side until Taehyung stopped shaking. They sat together for hours in the quiet of a dim hallway, the weight of unspoken truths finally being lifted between them. There were moments of silence, moments of whispered apologies, moments where Jungkook wrapped an arm around him because words simply weren't enough. And when morning came, the awkwardness had faded, replaced by a renewed sense of closeness, one that reminded ARMY why their bond has always been unbreakable. The emotional ripple from the incident spread far beyond that small hallway. ARMY across the world felt the heaviness, the sincerity, the humanity behind the truth. Many fans shared their own stories of unresolved pain, of past connections that still haunted them, of unexpected encounters that brought back emotions they thought they had buried. It became more than a story about Taehyung and Jungkook. It became a story about healing, vulnerability, and the strength of honest friendship. And in the days that followed, Jungkook made a quiet promise to himself to protect Taehyung's peace more fiercely than ever. Meanwhile, Taehyung, despite the emotional tremors, confessed he felt lighter after finally confronting the past. It was as if Jungkook's presence had turned a moment of pain into the first step toward closure. And as ARMY watched the way they interacted after, the smiles they shared, the gentle touches and reassurances, they felt the comfort of knowing these two beloved members had found strength in each other once again. As the final truth settled into the hearts of fans worldwide, the emotional impact of the mysterious woman faded, replaced by something much more meaningful, a reminder that even the strongest people can break, even the brightest faces can hide shadows, and even the closest friendships can be shaken but still survive. And tonight, as the world reflects on what happened between Taehyung and Jungkook, ARMY holds on to the same hope, that their bond, tested but unbroken, will only grow stronger from here. The hours after the emotional confrontation between Taehyung and Jungkook unfolded with a quiet intensity that no one outside those walls could have anticipated. While fans continued speculating online, creating theories that spiraled into every corner of social media, the atmosphere inside the dim backstage hallway grew heavier, softer, and more vulnerable. Taehyung sat with his back against the cool wall, his fingertips trembling slightly as he tried to steady his heartbeat. Jungkook remained kneeling beside him, his head lowered, his breath uneven, as if he had been the one holding back tears for too long, even though only fragments of their conversation had been captured by a passing staff member. Those few seconds had ignited a storm of worry. ARMY saw the way Taehyung's expression cracked, the way Jungkook reached for him, the way emotions spilled in complete silence. But what they didn't see was the moment after. The moment when Taehyung whispered that he didn't want to face her again. Not yet, not like this. His voice broke on the final word, and Jungkook, unable to bear the pain in it, immediately apologized again despite Taehyung trying to stop him. "Don't apologize," Taehyung had said with a trembling exhale, his voice still hoarse from crying. "You didn't know, Jungkook. You couldn't have known."